What's happening, YouTube? Back in the day, Gamer here. Thanks for tuning into my channel, and today I'm coming at you with another pickup video. And this one's on time! Everything I picked up here is for last month, which was January, because it's only the beginning of February. Speaking of the beginning of February, Back in the Day Gamer turns the big 4-0 in a couple of days. And this big stack of games right here behind me has nothing to do with this pickup video. It has to do with the little side project birthday present to myself. For the week before my 40th birthday, I want to pick up 40 Nintendo games. It's a couple days away. I'm sitting at 25 right now, so stay tuned in a couple days for my actual 40th birthday video to get into all this NES goodness. But for today, we're going to focus on this pile right here. First thing I got is a Game Boy game that I was really excited about until I played it, and that is Evel Knievel on the Game Boy. Why won't it focus? Focus, damn it. So this game just sucks. I'm a big Evel Knievel fan. He's like an American legend. They should have never put that game out. I got one Famicom game last month, and that is Layla. This is a quality game. So this game follows suit with my normal Fama-crazy description of how these Japanese games come off. The controls are floaty and slidey, but it doesn't ruin it. Graphics are better than average for a Famicom. Music is very high-pitched most of the time. You're always running after some bouncing pastry, which does not match the outer space theme of the game has going, but, you know, doesn't ruin it either. Switch from platformer to shooter, which is cool, but when you're in the actual shooter mode, you're invincible. It's an odd choice. Fama-crazy. What fun is a level if you can't be injured? There's no benefit to playing it. It's just, hey, pretty soon you'll have gone through the whole level and it's over. Fama-crazy. So far there were a few boss battles, and I always liked that. This was definitely a solid Famicom title. You're going to want to get your hands on this one if you're into Famicom. I finally got myself a copy of the Angry Video Game Nerd movie. Now this came just in time, because this coming up Saturday, February 10th, the Angry Video Game Nerd is going to be in Detroit, which is very close to where I live. So I am going to see the Angry Video Game Nerd, and I got a copy of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde that I'm going to have him sign. So I'm looking forward to that, for sure. Got one Sega Master System game in this lot. That is the classic Outrun. We don't really need to take up any time discussing Outrun. Everyone knows this classic arcade title. I wish I had me a mint condition sit-down arcade cabinet of this game. That would be something sweet. This stack of Sega Genesis games is not nearly as good as it has been in the past couple of months. We've got Stargate. Is alright. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. A game I do hate, however, Fantasia. So normally, the 16-bit Disney games are solid, but this one is shit. The controls are terrible. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing most of the time. Sometimes you jump on enemies and it kills them. Sometimes it hurts you. What the hell's up with that? The graphics are the worst of the Disney games that I have as well, so pass on this one. Now, California Games is a title I was pleased with. So I'd only ever played the NES version back in the day, so the 16-bit graphic upgrade is kick-ass. This game's made up of a handful of different mini-games. The half-pipe sucked. I couldn't do a single move on it. The footbag or hacky sack was an odd choice, but it was alright. I think I actually liked that better on the NES. Surfing was far better than TNC Surf Design, for sure. The roller skating board also sucked, but the BMX was the star of this one. As I have mentioned, I am a BMXer, so I would like to have a nice BMX board to play. Out of any of the 8 or 16-bit BMX games I have, this is hands down the best. That's not saying a whole lot, but it is. Then we've got Acme AllStars. It's a decent game with good graphics. Having all the character choices is cool. It's easy to pick up and play. I don't find it as great as all the hype I've heard, unfortunately. But I bet if I were playing with 2-player, it would make a big difference. Here we have a game that starts with the word Super that's not on the Super Nintendo. That's Super Baseball 2020. I am pleasantly surprised with this one. It looks like your average dime a dozen baseball simulator game, however it plays very well. Pitching and hitting are both easy. Graphics are above average for a, baseball game. Sound is good. There's a cash aspect where you accumulate money for hits and catches. You also lose money for errors and outs. I'm very much looking forward to playing more of this one. This game was also complete in box and came with all kinds of things. Had this fold out electronic art poster with all the different games. And I noticed that it has this phone number here. Call anytime to order. An 800 number? Let's call it. Ooh, it's ringing.
Press 1 for yes, 2 for no. 1 for yes, 2 for no. We would like your opinion in a quick 3-question survey. As a thank you, select callers will receive a free Caribbean cruise for 2 for helping us.
Ooh.
Let's begin.
A free Caribbean cruise?
If you are 21 years or older,
It's gotta be a scam. So moving on to the NES games. I finally picked up a copy of Popeye. Never had this game back in the day, never played it much, and I don't care for it. Not at all. This is a game I see everywhere. They're a dime a dozen. Never played it, always assumed it sucked. Cobra Command. Yep, this cheap common game I avoided all my life is not actually half bad. Controls are good, graphics are just alright. I found the game fun. You tilt the aircraft to get the right angle to hit the enemies, much like I imagine flying a real helicopter would be. It's cool how you drop a rope to pick up hostages. Give this one a go for sure. So a couple weeks ago, I was going to head over to my favorite video game spot. And I was like, I was just there a couple days ago. They haven't had crap lately. I'm not going to do it. But I didn't have anything else to do, so just at the last second, I turned left to go to the store instead of heading home. And I'm glad I did, because someone was just in there and they sold a huge lot of NES games that were all in super mint condition. Lots of them had the manuals, and they are like rare or uncommon games that I never see, and a couple of them are ones I've super wanted for a long time. First one is, oh, I dropped the manual, Pirates. So this appears to be a game that will require a lot of reading and know-how to progress. At first glance, I'm very uninterested. Controls are a bit awkward, graphics are not great, and here is a battle. Boring! So here's a game I've been after for a really long time. I dropped 35 bucks on an NES game without batting an eye, because I never see it, but that is Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Dragon Strike! This is one of only 4 NES Dungeons & Dragons games, Pool of Radiance being the best, Heroes of the Lance being the worst. This one isn't bad. Any game where you actually fly around as a dragon is automatically off to a good start, right? It has a unique gameplay to it where some of the enemies are in the air and some of them are on land, so you have to switch between the 2 heights. At first it was a pain in the ass, but after a while I really liked it. Back in the day, I had both Pool of Radiance and Hills Far on our IBM with the floppy 5 1/4 discs. Hills Far is the last game I need to complete this subset, and I asked the wife for Hills Far on the Nintendo for my 40th birthday, and since I've been good, I'm pretty sure she's going to get it for me, so I'm getting pretty excited about that. Now, I've wanted this game for a really long time, and I didn't grab it when I was at the store, when they had that fresh lot of all those super clean NES games, so I actually went back to pick it up. Unfortunately, I'm disappointed because it's a horrible game, but it does have one of the absolute best cover arts of any NES game. Might and Magic. It's just a standard blah blah dungeon crawler. I love RPGs, but first-person dungeon crawlers are usually the exception. I'm still going to give it a chance, but I'm not holding my breath, because nothing about it has been good so far. The last game I picked up on that day is this guy right here. Complete in-box Ys 3 for the Super Nintendo. Now, I never played any of the Ys games, but I've wanted to. This game looks great. I love the graphics, the soundtrack isn't bad, some parts are actually great. Some are a bit nasally though. Controls are tight, Obviously, I haven't put too much time into it, seeing as how I picked it up a week ago with a few other RPGs. But I'm definitely giving it a thumbs up. And I'm also going to go out on a limb and call this one my pickup of the month. I don't want to get ahead of myself because I haven't put that much time into it, but so far it seems pretty pickup of the monthy. I've got 2 more Super Nintendo games here, and this one is itchy and scratchy. Right off the bat, the graphics are good. You're in a prehistoric land, and just right away, tell me what you think this music sounds like. Flintstones, meet the Flintstones. They're the Modern Stone Age family. I watched a couple of reviews and nobody ever seemed to know what the hell you're supposed to do in this game. Neither do I. Apparently it's basically a itchy and scratchy battle. I wasn't intrigued enough to spend much time on it to figure it out though. Aside from the nice graphics, I'm categorizing this one with most of the Simpsons games. Crap! So now we're to our last game of the pickups in January. And it is another Super Nintendo title, the Ninja Gaiden Trilogy. So all 3 Ninja Gaiden games on one cart, and the cart is a Super Nintendo 16-bit upgrade? Oh yeah! We're just gonna hit up part 1 because that's the one that everyone's most familiar with, and in my opinion, the best. I don't have a lot of experience with the other 2. I do have them and have played them, but 1 will always be my favorite. Controls are tight and spot on. Graphics are a definite upgrade, but to be honest, I expected more. The sound, here's where I have an issue. The sound effects are far better, but the soundtrack, I do not care for at all. It doesn't sound right. How can the effects be more bassy and powerful, but the music sound too high? It's just off. However, it's still a good score, and for 15 bucks, definitely worth it. One last thing to mention. Here, one of my favorite cutscenes from any of my games from back in the day looks just about the same in 16-bit as it did in 8-bit. Just found that out. But there you go, that's a lot of everything I picked up in January. Let me know what you think. Which of these games you like, which you don't, which one I should spend more time on, because I didn't give it enough credit. You know the drill. Keep an eye out for my 40th birthday 40 Nintendo game pickup, which will be coming out here in a couple days, because I'm excited about that. Like I said, we're 25 deep. We got 1 super good game so far, and a couple more big heavy hitters on the way. So, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, and until next time, YouTube, keep it retro!